Was this a good Nick Cage film, and was he good in it?
Oh,
I'm gonna argue that he was good in it.
I think he was phenomenal in this because he wasn't necessarily Nick Cage.
Okay, so was this a good Nick Cage film then?
I the last time I think we recorded, I think we were on my shit ass computer that I bought from the college for $50.
Oh.
So
Oh, shit ass. That reminds me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, today is the day you have long been waiting for because you watched
Oh yeah? Oh yeah.
Whoosh. Stop. We're going to do that thing there. We're going to have Alan Whoosh it then just to...
Oh, come on.
uh,
It's a tradition.
allow me.
whoosh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Speaking of things that sound like a toilet flushing, Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, is a... what year is this movie? 2009 film.
Excuse me, Vanderpool, I must intervene. The Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans.
Yeah, thank you.
You have to get the whole stupid title.
Wait. Didn't you say it was that? It was that New Orleans, Port of Call, New Orleans, colon.
It
crap.
is
Electric
the Bad
Boogaloo.
Lieutenant. Yeah,
Colon, Electric
Yes.
Boogaloo, colon, Revenge of the Sith, colon, Citizens on Patrol.
yeah.
This movie, when it was on VHS at the store, had to be horizontal because that's how they printed the title. It was so long. But speaking of colons, I'm going to start us off with a quote because you watch Star Crash, we do quotes, we do what the F's, and we're in the middle of Nick Cage season where we talk about how well Nick Cage was in Nick Cage in these type of films. And one of the things we do is quotes. And the quote that I'm going to throw out for all of the everything for this podcast of all time is Nick Cage as the Bad Lieutenant. Please, what shit turd? So, yes, we are knee deep in our Nick Cage season. We've done quite a few Nick Cage films. This one, Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, has a lot of Nick Cagey stuff in it because his production company, Saturn Films, was one of the producers of this film, along with Millenium Films. And Millenium Films, I don't know if you guys looked into it, but they've got a catalog almost as long as the Canon folks do.
Oh, wow, okay.
Films, Rambo, the Expendables series, Wicker Man. So one of the things I was thinking maybe in the future for future seasons, we might actually just do like production studios movies.
That's an interesting idea.
When we get to season 10 and beyond. But who picked this movie?
I did.
Oh, let's go.
Oh, clink.
So I picked this just on one clip from YouTube.
What clip was that? I'm curious.
It was the one where he's at the nursing home, and they go inside and they close the door, and he's hiding behind the door, and then he's threatening an old lady with an oxygen mask on and another old lady that's taking care of her. He's threatening both of them with a gun, pointing at their heads, saying, "I should just take both of you out now." I'm thinking, what the hell is this?
Yeah. And that's not the most disturbing scene in this movie.
No.
So before we get there, Clint, set it up. Tell us a story about Nick Cage and Bad Lieutenant.
Once upon a time, after the Hurricane Katrina, Nick Cage's character, Terry, Alan, help me out here. Terence
McDonough.
Him and Val Kilmer is in it, which is awesome because I think this might be one of the last ones. I don't know what's Val Kilmer, but they're going through and there's a flood, and so they talk about possibly saving a prisoner that's caught in a jail cell, and so Nick Cage's character jumps in, hurts his back, but saves a prisoner. And then moving on, he actually is reliant on Vicodin, and then he gets into harder drugs. There's a giant drug-filled murder of families that happen. He does his drug-filled thing. Eva Mendes is in it and is his girlfriend, which is the most unbelievable part of this whole movie. Not the amount of drugs that he takes, but just the fact that Eva Mendes is going out with him. Anyways, he's trying to solve this case.
All the drug.
Yeah. And he tries to solve his case, and in the meantime, shenanigans happen. And it turns out he is trying Should we do spoilers? He's saved by the guy who saved who he saved. So it's a nice bookend.
This is a film. I have to put that down there. We've talked about the difference between films and movies, and this is a film simply because it's directed by Werner Herzog and is 2 hours freaking long. If it was a movie, it would have been directed by Michael Bay and been 90 minutes long and probably had breasts.
More hookers and more explosions and yeah.
Wait. So because Werner Herzog did it and because it's 2 hours long, that's it. It could be a commercial for Tide and you're fine.
There's some really interesting cinematography things going on in this film from the very first shot, the very first 2 shots. So Werner Herzog, I don't know if you know anything about him, but he did the voiceover for the documentary Lo and Behold, which is about the birth of the internet. Phenomenal watch for any tech nerds out there, but he's got a pretty auspicious collection catalog of movies right under his belt.
Both documentaries and fictional films and just, he's done everything.
He did like the 1970s Dracula, which is amazing.
So he's a filmmaker, right? Not a movie maker, I'm going to argue. So we have to assume every choice he makes is deliberate. The very first shot that sets up everything over the title series of shots, is a snake moving through the sewers. The first shot is a snake moving in one direction. The very next shot, so the second shot of the film, is the snake moving in the other direction, which is breaking the 180-degree rule. Something that you don't really do unless you want to disturb the audience. So from the very beginning, this is set up to be like, if we take everything at face value, like in the hands of a competent filmmaker. And it's going to be fucked up. And it is.
So, real quick, off the bat, because I IMDb'd this for right before we came on, the water that's in the flood is 2,400 cups of coffee. Like they use coffee instead of any sort of dirt water or anything. That's and it's decaf coffee, because they used caffeinated coffee and they started kind of getting into the dude's skin, so he started becoming caffeinated. So they used decaf coffee because they couldn't use paint. Yeah, they couldn't use paint because it was too toxic. And I'm thinking, just you could do something else. Like there's food coloring, there's other things you could do, but
or just dirt.
Or just clean dirt. I mean, whatever.
They should have thrown Cage in there when he was doing the crack talking scenes.
Man,
that very first scene is interesting. So it's post Hurricane Katrina, and him and Val Kilmer are walking through the jail cell or prison, whatever it is, and they are both established as being not nice humans.
Yeah,
but we do go ahead, right? I mean,
Nick Cage isn't kind or isn't nice, but he's kind, versus Val Kilmer, who's not nice or kind at all, I would say.
Yeah, and we do get Nick Cage, who the water is rising. This prisoner's in the cell. The water's, it's explained that the water's rising. They go to leave. Nick Cage decides to jump into the water. So that's his save the cat moment, right? For the Blake Snyder folks out there. That's where we feel, we as the audience connect with him as a good guy. What's interesting, and this is again Werner Herzog, and what I'll call it a film, is most movies would show when he jumps into the water him getting hurt and a reaction. We don't get that. That's off screen and delivered through voiceover, so you really have to pay attention.
And let me throw in on that, most Nick Cage movies would show him jumping into the water, and then we'd get this 20-minute
my back! Yeah. Well, multiple camera angles, right? Of just
I broke my back jumping into the water. And
not my back, my back, where's my back? My back. Oh, and that's if I didn't mention it earlier, Wicker Man was also a Millenium Films production as well.
Yeah, you did mention that. Yeah.
So then I think we jump forward just a little bit in time. Nick Cage's character Terence receives the medal, an award for assumingly jumping in and saving that person.
And his promotion, if I remember right. He becomes the lieutenant of Bad Lieutenant at that point.
And then from that moment on, it's quickly established that he's given Vicodin for his pain, that his pain will never go away. and then really it's like an elongated version of Henry Hill making spaghetti from Goodfellas. Remember
Yeah.
Henry Hill?
Yeah.
He's trying to sell his guns, and he's making spaghetti.
Yeah.
He's got all these things going on, and it's rather quick. Like, this is just that stretched out to be an hour and 40 minutes.
Gotta get home and stir the sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this movie is noirish. It's also got some Leaving Las Vegas, not Leaving Las Vegas. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Sorry, Leaving Las Vegas, that's another Nick Cage movie.
Yeah.
There's some trippiness going on.
With the reptiles?
Yeah, the reptile motif throughout the whole thing is definitely interesting. Whether or not Nick Cage is seeing things as part of his descent into addiction, for lack of a better term, gambling addiction, drug addiction, a little bit of a sex addiction. I don't even know where to really go with this thing, but the cast is amazing.
Yeah.
It's
a lot
a
of
2 hour.
noteworthy people.
It's a 2 hour film that doesn't necessarily. It feels 2 hours, but it keeps your attention because you don't know. Like, I didn't get bored watching this. I did pause it quite often just to kind of see where we were at, but it wasn't out of boredom. It was out of curiosity.
Right.
Well, so we watched this a while ago, and then we didn't end up recording, so we now are recording now. So I had my notes already, and so I was looking over my notes as I was watching. I'm like, do I have to add anything? And there's random stuff. And I'm like, what the hell was this movie? Because I got General Zod. I've got 12 minutes in this movie. This is gonna be a long movie. He's not a very good cop. The movie is weird timing. This woman is yelling at an earshot of the funeral, like right next to it. And then I got Exhibit and Sodomy is a Crime and Poor Alligator Family. Like, these are some of the things I wrote down. I'm like, what is happening?
Poor alligator.
This is wild though, because I only have a page and a half of notes. And I don't know if that just because I was invested in it, interested in it, or what, or if it's just one of those things that's like, I mean, I've got another quote for what I learned. I learned that Jennifer Coolidge doesn't have a weird voice because she's in this, and she's I think she does. I think the vast majority of the acting in this is actually really good.
Oh yeah. I think the weirdness in this movie is, I don't know, I think due to some of the shot. I think if there were a few things changed, this would be a straight procedural. And it would still be interesting. It wouldn't be quite as interesting, but it's the like the weird point of view shots or almost point of view shots from the reptiles.
Yeah.
That is where things get strange. That and the his soul still dancing scene, which we'll get to later on.
That was awesome.
Which I think is the height of the craziness of this thing.
One of the first interesting shot. Well, the first interesting shot I've already explained, right? The snake and the 180 degree rule. For those of you who don't know, that's where the camera kind of flips to the other side and is disjointed as a viewer. The other shot that I noticed first off was when he's receiving his medal. There's a handheld shot of the guy coming up to him to deliver the medal.
Yeah,
and that was what subtly moves from like, it's a little weird here. It's a little weird here. It's a little weird here. So this, I can't say that fucking word. The cinematography in this is freaking phenomenal. I don't know who the DP was. That's director of photography, not
not something else. Yeah.
But I'm scared. I think this movie might be good and this podcast might be bad because that's kind of how this works.
Well, okay.
I'm still gonna have WTF things in this, though. I mean, come on.
So my problem is with Werner Herzog. He tried to do Loathing in Las Vegas or Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, but Fear and Loathing,
that was him.
I remember. No, I'm saying he tried to. It seemed.
Oh,
but
okay.
It seemed, and it's been a while since I've seen it. I don't think I've seen the whole thing, but they went all in with Fear and Loathing.
Oh yeah.
Here, it seems like he's just doing little bits here and there, which is disjointed. It felt like kind of takes you out of it. There's a part with iguanas where Nick Cage and everybody's just looking out the window, and then after a while, Nick Cage looks down at the iguanas, starts smiling. Like, it's really weird. The alligator thing, the snakes, Like, I guess I'm not cultured enough, so I didn't understand why the reptiles were there doing their thing. That was my problem. And if they would have like went all in on it and actually went in with the weird angles and everything throughout the entire movie, that could have made it really interesting, but also could have made it really, really weird. And since it's a Nick Cage movie, it could have been an interesting, weird movie, a normal Nick Cage movie. I don't know.
So Clink, let me use a reference you already made here. So there is a sequence in Fear and Loathing, and I remember the book better than the movie, but I know it's in the movie too. There's a sequence where our hero needs to get out of a hotel lobby that has been transformed into pretty much a pile of sentient reptiles.
Oh God.
Like everybody has kind of transformed into these weird creatures. And I think there's a certain association. Now, my drug experience has been entirely with our fun friend marijuana, but there has been a long association of heavy drug users with this kind of weird reptilian kind of idea. I don't remember how Burroughs specifically describes the mugwumps, but they've got kind of a weird, kind of strange, slow reptilian kind of feel to them too. And of course, he had a long experience with opiates. So I think I think this is a lot of junky stuff kind of sneaking into the movie. I think this is, I think to a certain extent, I think the reptile thing has some kind of weird trip association.
Okay.
And beyond the fact that he's clearly hallucinating, but
because we get the snakes at the beginning.
right.
We also then, when they go to the house of is it the Senegalese family that's murdered?
Yep. Yeah.
So the Senegalese family, the father was a heroin dealer who was encroaching on the territory of a bigger dealer. Looks like they were murdered as part of a gang plot. And the child, Nick Cage goes into the child's room and the child has been killed. And the child has written a poem, and kind of weird poem, to a fish. So we also get then a fish, which are not reptiles, but like similar space, right? And then we get the iguanas. We've already talked about that, which are when they're staking out to capture one of the big bad's henchmen. And this movie has tons of big bads. That's the other thing. It's interwoven. And there's a whole lot going on. It's almost like the who's the who married Madonna for a while. The guy from the UK that did Snatch and other things like that. Guy
Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie. It's almost like a little bit of a Guy Ritchie flair in this as well. And
yeah,
then
it's the kind of heist procedural thing that's going on. Yeah.
And then we get a dead crocodile in the road when Nick Cage goes to get a ticket overturned, which leads to a different shot of a crocodile. What other reptile? The iguana does come back later on as well.
Yeah, it's weird. The reptiles are associated with evil and degradation and drug use. The fish are associated with innocence, because we get the My Friend poem about the fish, which is very sweet, and then we get the really nice, although I'm going to say some mean things about it, scene at the end where we've got the Chavez, who was the guy in the jail cell, and McDonough out on their weird, awkward date.
With sharks at an aquarium with sharks in the background.
Yeah, but all of that is positive, weirdly enough. So it's like reptile bad, fish good, almost.
But I mean, that goes back to morality plays in Christianity too, right? I mean, in other religions where snakes are associated with the devil, and Jesus did a lot of stuff with fish.
Yep.
Raising.
Might as well have people drawing fish with their sandal toe in the dust as the sign of goodness here.
This movie has A big bad is a drug dealer. It's got Nick Cage. Nick Cage pisses off a lot of people in this movie.
Yeah, he does.
A whole lot of them.
It's almost like the entire world is against Nick Cage, yet at the end he ends up on top. It's another similar film, or at least ending of a film, is what's that called, with the Leonardo DiCaprio, The Departed. This feels a little bit like that as well, with the intricacy and things that are going on with the interrelatedness of the stories. You never seen The Departed?
No, I never saw that part. I want to. It looks good.
Yeah,
but what's interesting
to that.
is Nick Cage is this character that's not really likable. Like, he's the main character. He's the protagonist, and he actually is the hero, but he's not really a likable hero. Like, obviously, he's got the drug addiction. He stops people, and then he starts exploiting them for things like sex or favors for a football game or whatever. But in the end,
he's a user.
It's interesting.
He's a user in every sense of the word.
Yeah, but in the end, he is still a good guy. Morally speaking, mostly good, for the point of he wants to make the bad guy pay. He's going to make the bad guy pay, and also pay with justice too, because he actually asked him pay him. But there's a part where at the end where Val Kilmer's character says, "Let's just kill him and steal his stuff." And the entire
Pruit
time
is going out of his way to set that up. So,
and the entire time I hadn't noticed, but Nick Cage, his character, never kills anybody. He exploits people like crazy. He'll let them go and be off on their own, but he never actually kills anybody. So then when he goes and Frankie, Eva Mendes' character, is beat, she got like black eye, and he goes, and who did this to you? And he goes in and he starts threatening the guy.
We should put that down.
She's a high-end prostitute, because she's always going to places and has appointments and stuff. But she's a high-end prostitute. Guy has this night with her, but then he ends up beating her, and so then he shakes the guy down for the money because he owes her, even though he didn't pay her yet. And then that's when he Nick Cage's character pisses off the mom, essentially, because the guy goes, "My daddy is this, and he knows this guy," and da-da-da. I'm like, okay. But the fact that those people that were coming after him, and then a drug dealer guy that he was, quote-unquote, making friends with, they started fighting, and Nick Cage didn't have to kill anybody. But his problem was killed right away. It's interesting just because he doesn't do anything that you can't take back. Like, he's a drug dealer or a drug user. He uses people, but he doesn't actually kill. So there's still a chance for people to keep going with their lives, and for him to I'm gonna try to say him to make up for any problems that he did. Versus murder is definitely permanent. Like, you can't make up for that, really. So that was interesting.
But now's a good time for us to talk about the sex in the parking lot scene. Because I think what is a lot of that down the toilet, right? That he's not a morally righteous character in any sense.
He's not. And like I said, he uses people, but not morally, as in like he always does the right thing. He does right by most of the people that he had. Like, he's a cop, essentially, so he stays with the cop. Like, I'm a cop, I'm going to make sure that murder, because I'm a homicide detective, that the murder is solved and justice is run for that.
So before we go to the sex in the parking lot, we should talk about the property room. So he has been taking drugs from the property room to support his and his girlfriend's habit.
Yes.
Later on in the film, some of that, it's kind of hinted, it's early on that's being found out and investigated. Internal Affairs is coming in, whatever. Nick Cage himself gets put into the property room because of IA taking his gun and whatever. Hilarious. Some cops come in with some heroin, give it to Nick Cage. He's going to fill out the rec or the form, whatever, after it's weighed, blah, blah, blah. So Nick Cage is in charge of that. Nick Cage, and this is where he, again, ends up being a good guy. Yes, he steals the drugs, but the line is when he gives the form to the other cops that there's still enough there for conviction on a felony.
Yes.
Yep.
Which is, again, So he wants to use, and he doesn't want his job or any other parts of that job to be hurt with what he's doing, but also he's using, and that's not good, obviously, either.
That scene in the parking lot and the dialogue that he has with the girl that he's fucking in the parking lot while her boyfriend watches is really, really disturbing.
Who
Yes.
he insists that he has to watch. He almost shoots the guy.
Yeah. Which I
mean,
would argue that he
is-
wouldn't have shot him.
No, but he's very obviously, yeah, that is like pain vampire stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
he very clearly is getting off on this idea that she has some kind of like dark hidden life
Mhm.
where it turns out like he's the bad thing in her life. But anyway, that's
And some of the reference he makes to, like, I don't know, is it daddy issues or something?
yeah,
like, what-
it's rough. Yeah.
It's weird, man. It's very much, it reminds me of the rape scene from Showgirls, right? It's just that scene really does stand out in this as making me uncomfortable. One of the more uncomfortable scenes I've seen in movies, and I've seen.
Is the movie playing it for a little bit of a laugh too?
I don't know if
Because I
freaking
couldn't quite tell, because I thought the absurdity of the scene kind of, I mean, there's a high level of absurdity. You're getting rolled by a cop.
Right.
And then and like right out in the open too. I mean, this is right across the street from the club. And while he is boating this girl in the street, like out in the middle of the city, they're like a block from the club, and he just discharged his firearm.
Yeah.
I mean,
While his car is still flashing lights. Like his car is still
Yeah.
flashing
I
lights.
mean,
that's
it's
gonna
an
draw attention.
absurd situation.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is that scene is called back to later when he does the same thing. Well, except the same shakedown thing with they empty your pockets, but we don't get the sex. But we're reminded of that.
I got a lot to say about that, because this is one of those situations. I'm fascinated by situations where in a movie everything was going wrong and then suddenly everything's going right.
Mhm.
And you know, in a comedy, they're doing that because that will make you feel better when you leave. Or if you're watching a melodrama, it's because your relationship saved you or whatever, or having your kid saved you or whatever. I mean, it's designed to make people just feel happy in a nice baseline way that isn't supposed to make you think too hard about it. Whereas here, we have this utter piece of shit of a human being who has been like just doing terrible things throughout this movie. And then suddenly everything goes great. We'll go through the, I want to review again everything that's going great. Anyway, as I was saying, these movies, when there's this shift into the universe backing up our main character, there's a commentary being made. And I'm going to compare this to Snake Eyes. Now, our Snake Eyes episode is not out yet, so folks at home, you can follow along later.
Alan, you gotta think fourth dimensionally though, buddy. It's already going to be out. It will be out. You gotta think fourth dimensional.
It will be, and it already is out. So anyway,
check that out.
In Snake Eyes, we get a fake good ending, because it looks like everything's going to turn out fine, and then no, it doesn't. And it still turns out okay. I mean, our main character is not dead or anything by the end. He's just been totally ruined as a cop, and he's going to leave town pretty much. But in this case, it goes back a little bit, because we get all this good stuff, like almost crazy good stuff. And I think the movie is making fun of our desire for a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get parking lot scene 2, Shakedown Boogaloo, where we have the exact same thing happen when our hero is supposed to know better.
Is that Is that second parking lot scene at the very end? Is that what closes the movie?
It's not
No.
what closes the movie, because what closes the movie is then so everything was going good.
Mm-hmm.
Then he is bad again, and he ends up in that hotel with a line of Coke in front of him, and Chavez shows up, the guy he saved, and Chavez is working at the hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and then Chavez gets off his shift, and they go to the aquarium. And the last shot is them at the aquarium, and
Having
we
their
get a
date.
nice that feels like the kind of happy ending that would work for this kind of thing, because it's ambiguous. It's not everybody got clean and my girlfriend's gonna have a baby and everything's gonna be fine, and I got promoted to captain despite the fact that I'm still a piece of shit. So yeah, I mean that.
Yeah.
So it's not a comedy. It's not a comedy.
Is not a comedy.
So we also have hopefully by this time we'll have the because you watch Star Crash Nights out about Community, and there's a episode of Community, I'm kind of giving this away, where they talk about addiction, where the first part of the addiction is good and everything's ha 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 and you're feeling good, and then the second part is when things go bad and you get to using, and you get to like people start doing things to you and you start doing things to people and it's not good, and you want to stop but you can't. And it seemed like this was kind of like that, where he was using, he didn't really see a problem with it, and then at the end everything was happy. Like you had that scene where one right after another you had people going, hey, I got no problem, hey, here's $10,000, hey, you did a great job because we found this and now I can get the killer, and da-da-da. Like it was just right after the other. Like it was absurd how quickly everything kind of wrapped itself up. Then you have the second parking lot shakedown scene, which is, I'm doing well, I can do this, I can handle this, I can control these urges, I'm going to do this. I'm in a hotel room alone. This guy walks in accidentally. Oh, it's the guy that I saved. He wants to help me. I kind of maybe need help. And so it's that idea of the addiction was going well, and then now I've got my good life, but I'm going to mess it up by doing the addiction. It seemed.
But maybe what? But again, the weird thing here is the addiction, and I would assume the really bad behavior. So for law enforcement officers who might be listening to this, I apologize, but there's a certain level. There's regular sleazy cop shit, and then there's this stuff. And as far as we know, McDonough was not doing the real stuff. Like, he was not engaging in the full level of sleazy behavior until he got addicted.
Uh-huh.
And what caused him to get addicted? The good deed he did for Chavez. So he's a regular piece of shit. And Pruit is different because I would like to think that there's a difference between, I don't know, lying on the stand, something that cops are frequently accused of doing. That seems to be part of the job. It's part of your law and order duties, ultimately. And murdering a guy and stealing his shit, which is what Pruit wants to do to Big Fate.
And Pruit is Val Kilmer's character.
Yeah. And Pruit seems to be genuinely awful. I mean, he just seems to be he is the Iago in this situation, and that he is just evil. Whereas, and we don't have any reason for it. We don't know what his backstory is. He's just floating around here to be evil. And I think to highlight the moral tightrope that McDonough's on, because McDonough he's regular bad, as befitted of his environment and his profession, And okay, maybe he's a little bit extra sleazy because we don't know when his relationship with Ned the bookie starts.
Oh,
But he was probably just dropping some sports bets if he did know Ned prior to that. Like regular kind of sleazy behavior. And then as his addiction kicks in, that's when we get like full on evil McDonough. And he is always pulling back from that. It's like is always like evil, I do something good. Then I threaten the old ladies with blowing their heads off. And then like the bad, clearly bad. And then
well, okay. So wait. Is he evil or is he just not a kind person? And ultimately,
no, the drug is in charge.
Yes.
For a lot of that. If nothing else, we can say that he is fully under the influence of his addiction, and he is doing things that a moral human not under the influence would never do.
And that's really set up at the very beginning. Again, Val Kilmer's character being the worst of the two as a foil to Nick Cage jumping in to the water to save.
Well, because he even says, Val Kilmer's character even says, hey, we'll get time of death from the autopsy. Well, let's just go. Like, we don't even want to have to wait. Let's just go. I don't care. You're just going to die. Right.
And I think he was kidding at that point. But
I don't think he was.
But considering how bad he gets later on, no, he probably isn't.
No, and he's walking away with his coat on.
He does say when McDonough's taking his jacket off, well, why don't you just let the firefighters do this? So there's a little bit of, I'm going to walk back my evil. We're going to save my evil for later in the movie.
And every decision after that McDonough makes, Nick Cage's character makes, is because of the addiction.
Yep.
And then even when, so he's into the bookie for X number of dollars and wants to get half a point off on a bet, and the bookie's daughter has a speeding ticket. So even at that point, McDonough is going to go and talk to the cops, and that's where we see the alligator. Even that, like getting somebody to not show up for a speeding ticket isn't a big, huge deal. So nothing that he's doing really has this big, huge impact other than the kind of sort of rapey scene in the parking lot and cutting off the old lady's oxygen. Those
it's
two
not
things
kind of sort of. It is a rapey scene. He is a person in authority, and he has a weapon. And
yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
So, backing up, Vanderpool, I have a question.
So we're back to rooting for a rapist, which is a little weird because I do get some, because you do want to see him get better and succeed, and because of what he's placed against, everybody else who he's up against is a worse person.
But also, let's face it, Werner Herzog isn't going to let us get off feeling good about anybody in one of his movies. We're always going to be we're going to be feeling dirty, even if we are rooting for this guy to get his life together.
It reminds me a little bit of Dexter, where the very first episode of Dexter, spoiler alert, Dexter as a serial killer, what's the best thing that you can do to have someone empathize with a serial killer is have that serial killer kill a pedophile.
Right.
And that's what we do that first episode. So we, even though that parking lot scene is cringy, and the parking lot scene is cringy, the choking grandma or cut off grandma's oxygen isn't as cringy. And I wonder if it's just because of how cringy
it's because it's so balls to the wall absurd.
Yeah.
I mean, that scene is
absurd.
There's the situation for the parking lot scene is absurd, but the scene itself is it's somewhat intense, actually. I think that's what they're aiming for.
The dialogue.
Whereas I don't feel scared for the old ladies in that scene, because I'm like, what the hell are you doing through that whole thing? And it's almost funny that it's so brutal and nuts. I mean, it's just, and there's a reason that ends up on the internet as its own thing. That is the meme from this movie. Because it's insane. And especially taken out of the narrative of the movie.
is even
it's
more
even
insane.
more insane. It's
Yes.
just, what are you doing?
It's
Why
it's
are
similar
you
to the
threatening these old ladies?
it's similar to the Wicker Man clip of him going, the bees, oh God, the bees. Like it's absurd, especially if you don't have that background knowledge of it and the context. But then this especially, like, why he's a cop, why is he threatening these old ladies? Why is he pointing a gun at them? What is happening right now? It's Nick Cage, so okay, I can understand a little bit of it, but no, God, no.
And why is he lurking in the corner? That
Oh, no.
weird way.
Not only working in the corner, he's shaving
Behind
as
the
he's
door. Oh, yeah,
the
the
corner.
weird shaving, too. That's the only time we see him shaving in the movie, and I'm like, why are you doing? Why do you think this is extra intimidating, dude?
I feel like I've seen cops shaving and stuff before, though. It feels like that might be a reference to something.
Maybe,
the only shaving scene I can think of specifically is in a movie called Agent for Harm that was featured on Mystery Science Theater 3000. And it's this weird, like, it's supposed to be a secret agent movie. And their secret agent looks like he's about 50. And not in like a 60s 50. As in, he looks rugged, shall we say. He is an old dude, and he is, of course, romantically interested in, like, this 20-year-old that's kind of weird, but welcome to
it was
the
the
60s,
60s, so it's
everybody.
okay.
Yeah. And welcome to Hollywood, everybody. But then on top of that, there's a scene where he's shaving as he's talking to the scientist he's talking to, but that's to set up the fact that the shaver has a recording device in it. But the only thing, that's the only menacing shaving scene I can think of in a movie, and besides there you go, you got another one here. Besides
Vanderpool,
and even that scene wasn't that menacing.
Oh yeah, Vanderpool, I have a question. What are points in betting? Like, I don't understand it.
So, let's say that the Detroit Lions are going to play the Chicago Bears.
So the Chicago Bears win?
The Detroit Lions are infinitely better than the Chicago Bears.
Okay.
Or any two teams. Points are, we're going to give Chicago 6 points, and the Lions have to win by more than 6. So it's basically like a handicapping, not a handicapping, that's not the right word, but it's to encourage betting on games that otherwise would not be good bets.
Yeah, it's when they like, if you've ever heard bookies talk about beating the spread.
Yeah,
like beating the point spread. That's what it means.
So like in a lot of bets will be 6.5 points or 3.5 points, because a half point is something that can't happen in football. So it becomes the dividing line of whether somebody wins or loses. So let's say the spread is 3.5. The Bears are getting 3.5 points, and the Lions only win by 3. The bet would actually go to the Bears.
Okay.
Because they were getting 3.5 points. Speaking of that, I've got $50 on the Detroit Lions going undefeated next year. And if I win, it's like $5,000.
So you just could have just won the $50.
Are you seeing various reptiles around your house?
I mean, well, if you got a paper shredder, just put the $50 in the paper shredder. I think you'll be better off. You know exactly where your money's going.
Well, we may cut this, but one of the interesting things with betting now and like FanDuel, what it'll do and other betting sites. So obviously it's a long season. I would be able to cash in my ticket at earlier points in the season. So let's say it's like they're 10-0. I might be able to cash that in for, maybe $500 versus the $2,000.
Oh, and FanDuel, by the way, we are open for advertising and sponsorship.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna cut this out
because we sponsor every other podcast I listen to, so why not us?
Yes,
that's the algorithm, Alan. The algorithm is after you. Like, I want you to FanDuel.
Well, now we're talking about betting, so maybe we'll get maybe they'll hit us up.
Maybe this is what's bullshit. So in order to like get bonuses, like they'll give you money to bet because they want you to be addicted, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I made a bet the other day.
Don't listen, FanDuel. we still.
I made a $5 bet the other day, and it's a parlay, which means it's a combination of things like Aaron Judge had to hit a home, you get 2 bases. Another guy, like 4 players, had to get 2 bases in baseball, right? and it was close to fulfilling. I was close to winning, right? I was one base away. So I'm sitting there watching basically in FanDuel for 40 minutes. A notification pops up on my phone that says, "Hey, you've been logged in for 40 minutes and haven't made a bet." And I'm just like, fuck you for trying to make me feel like a loser for not betting. That should be illegal. Like,
yeah, when you're talking about compulsive behavior.
yes.
Yeah.
Like, it was letting me know that I hadn't placed a bet.
But
That's
again,
we're in a late stage capitalism. That's what you do. I don't understand. Like this is what capitalism is.
Yeah.
You're fine. That's what. That's what.
Anyway, speaking of capitalism, did this movie actually make money? Well, I'm curious though, because one of the things that we do, right, is we talk about how successful some of these films are. Did this movie actually make money?
You guys keep talking. I'll check that out.
We should also talk a little bit about that there is the reason this movie has such a long title is because I think there's another Bad Lieutenant.
Yes,
there's with Harvey Keitel.
And the original guy that did it did not like the fact that they remade this or they did a sequel to this. He was upset.
Oh, is this a sequel?
It's not a sequel, it's a remake.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But it's not even a remake because let's see. So the budget was $25 million. And its gross worldwide was $10 million.
So this movie did not make money.
No.
Why is Harvey Keitel naked on the front of the freaking movie poster for Bad Lieutenant? It's just odd.
To get the views.
Yeah. Why was Dennis Franz naked on network TV?
One of the things I have down is I have General Zod, because General Zod's the one that is beholden to Terence when he's the property officer. And he just walked in, I'm like, oh, that's General Zod. And then I'm like, oh, he's sibling wuss. Oh, sad day. That's not my General Zod.
From which movie? From new Superman?
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel, okay. I mean, and let's talk about the cast, right? So Val Kilmer, Eva Mendes, Nicolas Cage, William Finkelstein, who plays a character that is, what is this? Is he the mob boss? Kind of like a Jewish mob boss, I think.
Yeah, I lost his name. I want to say it's Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Dave Jacobs. And then you get Fairuza Balk from Draft Days, who looks great. Black Rock.
Yeah. It's weird. It was weird to see her in this. I didn't recognize her when the first time we watched it. And then I looked her up and was like, oh, wait a second. I should have been paying more attention.
And then so many of these people, this I think does a really phenomenal job of an ensemble cast, right? Like Val Kilmer, I thought his character was going to play a bigger role throughout the whole thing, and he's not, right? The Sean Hannity guy who plays Armand, who is a younger cop, who
he's the good guy.
He's not a good guy though.
He's at least a little bit more. He's more of a straight arrow. At least
he's the good guy.
He's not
Nicolas
quite
Cage
as
is
dirty.
kind of a gray
he's not
guy.
Quite as dirty.
And and then Val Kilmer's the dark black guy. Yeah, well, that's the evil guy, I should say.
but that character of Armand, the one that Sean Hannity plays, he does. This movie does really explore that idea of and Alan, you can probably help me with the words. Where evil or doing bad justifies because the outcome is good. So the
end justify the means.
And Nick Cage basically places a crack pipe to frame exhibit, and Nick Cage tells Armand to go look back at the house and look here, and you might find you'd be surprised, maybe there's a crack pipe. And of course there is. So this good cop realizes what he's doing. You can tell by how he acts.
Yeah. And there's a facial expression that we get that is very clearly, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
That we at least see that hesitation, but
and
we also see that everybody's fucking thrilled that this plan works too. Like even the like the cat like his captain is happy. Like everybody is so thrilled that they finally put Big Fade away. That like obviously the system wanted him to cheat. Ultimately, I mean, it's very clearly rewarding him for this.
But you can
And
tell that takes a toll on Armand, because
Yeah.
he's even looking. He goes, "Did you have a vision of this?" Like, he jokingly says this is not serious at all, but the way he said it, it was like, "Yeah, I don't want to do this. You're making me do this. I just want to be a cop. I want to be a good cop. I can't." But the idea that Armand is trying to be a good cop and he
Yeah.
can't, because everybody around him is not the best, and he's trying to be in that system. He's trying to do the best he can.
And well, a very obvious mirror of police work. Again, it's that commentary of like pretty much, I mean, this is All Cops Are Bastards, the movie, when it comes right down to it, because even when the system is putting the bad guy away, it has to cheat to do it. And like, and almost wants to murder him rather than dump him through the system. If we'd listened to good old Val Kilmer's character.
well, it's even the captain who's played by Bondi Curtis Hall.
Yeah.
When Nick Cage is being investigated for almost choking out or suffocating the senator's grandma, yes, he knows, because the line that Nick Cage probably did it, because the line he delivers is basically like, "I hope you covered your ass."
Uh-huh.
And he yells at him later on, "You can't get away with that cowboy shit anymore."
Yeah.
So he knows what's going on. It's just keep it quiet is obviously what's going on. And again, it's New Orleans too, which is noteworthy for both its police corruption and corruption in general. So
I love New Orleans.
oh, it's a great town. It's just, although I do have a quibble based on real life and New Orleans. Let's see. So one of Frankie's Johns calls from the Monteleone. And the joke is that, or the comment that McDonough makes is he can't, that she wants him to take her to the Monteleone, which is a somewhat fancy hotel. And his response is he can't afford it. Now, the irony is in 2006-ish, I was able to stay at the Monteleone for a conference. And in fact, that was it was the big, it was, oh, I can't remember the name of it. Damn, it was the big goth conference at the time. It was like the like alt.gothic, the old internet community had kept putting this on. It's Convergence was the convention. And and the Monteleone's a great hotel and it is very fancy, but my poor ass was able to stay there. So
Wait.
I'm pretty sure Mr. I will occasionally make a big pile of money through sports betting can afford a damn room at the Monteleone.
Wait. Alan, so you said conference. I'm thinking teacher, folklorist. But you're going with goth. Is that what you're going with?
I think mostly it would be referred to more as a convention, but anyway.
Okay.
But anyway, it was really fun, and the Monteleone's a great hotel. It has this wonderful circular bar that's just amazing. And he could have totally stayed there in 2006 or so, because this is still when the city is recovering from Hurricane Katrina,
Right.
and
Yeah.
everything's a lot cheaper because nobody's coming down.
So that's what ruined this movie for you, Alan. Was
Yep.
real
Yep, it was like my poor ass could stay at the Monteleone. I think you can too, mister.
I don't think you can. And I'm just thinking about this now. I'm not sure it's okay to make a movie about New Orleans and not have at least one scene on Bourbon Street.
Oh, it's perfectly fine to do that because you're not dealing, because that's not where the action is. That's not where the real heart of the city is. That's the tourist action. There's no
Right.
tourists in this.
Well, and I'm trying to think now. There's only a few outdoor scenes, aren't there? We get a kind of a shot on the street post hurricane, establishing that it's post hurricane.
Yep.
We do have the graveyard scene where they're burying the family that was killed.
Yep.
We do have the outdoor scene where he's trying to get the ticket overturned. We do have the outdoor scene where he runs into the football player, right? Which kind of kismet or whatever. He meets this football player who's got some heroin, and
Yep.
he blackmails convinces the football player not to play in the game, which allows him to.
You can say it.
Yeah.
You can say it.
Yeah.
It's blackmail. Yeah.
But
There's no other way around it. It's blackmail.
And then that's to say, like, a lot of this movie feels like it's confined space.
Oh, and there's also the waterfront scene where they're talking about Big Fate going legitimate and being the money behind building condos.
Yeah.
Which was, again, commentary about the city more or less being restructured over the next few years. Because a lot of the reconstruction had happened by 2009 and certainly by 2008. So they'd already seen that the rebuilding of the city was going to be dirty as hell and that a lot of people made a lot of money from it. And a lot of people were continued to be hurt by it too. So
on that happy note, Nick Cage, Clink, you usually have like some cage-isms or caginess.
Is it time for the cage-isms? Is it time for the cage questions? Cage queries? Cage queries? Is it time for the cage queries?
Yes, I'm ready.
Cage queries.
Oh, he's so excited that he gets to do a segment.
You ready? This is a fan favorite.
I think we first be by Sesame Street.
It is a fan favorite if we are the only fans of this podcast.
It's not from Sesame Street.
Mom. Hi, Clink's mom.
So, okay, this is not mine, but I'm gonna say it anyways because I think it works. Do fish dream?
What else was that from? Isn't that like from a Do Robots Dream? Isn't that a riff on something like that?
Do Electric Sheep Dream or something? Do Robots Dream of Electric Sheep?
Android's Dream of Electric Sheep.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Is the Philip K. Dick story.
Yes. But this is from this movie because Nicolas Cage actually asked that. Do fish dream at the end of the movie? And I guess another issue would be, do fish sleep? Because I don't think fish sleep. I think they do.
I guess they might go into like a lower running mode,
but the idea that some fish don't have long-term memories. So then, if they were dream, what would they dream about? Because there's no memory. It's like a goldfish has like a 3-second memory, so that's why it's profound.
How do we know that? How do we fucking know that a goldfish has a 3-second memory? That feels like some bullshit.
We know, just like we know that dogs. It's what you know, like dogs can't see red.
Yeah, how the fuck is that possible? What do you do? Put on dog glasses?
Be quiet. It's fine. This is science. Science.
Perhaps we need elementary science corner and not Nick Cage corner.
Nick Cage queries is a fan favorite, and you will watch your mouth, sir.
So I don't think fish dream. They might dream, but I think that just illustrates how like this movie is just not trying to solve a problem. It's just presenting a story.
Right. And there's not really I don't think there's a moral of this one or anything like that. It's just kind of, wow, isn't this a bunch of stuff that happened?
Yeah.
Which, is more fitting in kind of the Werner Herzog looking at life thing. I mean, this is probably, I don't know, more optimistic than, I don't know, Grizzly Man or something like that.
Well, okay, so I thought of another reason why Nicolas Cage's character is more morally correct. Obviously, the rape scene is not good, but the fact that they had a whole bunch of armed people outside this guy's house, and he looked around, and he's like, wait a minute. And he goes to the next door neighbor's house, and he walks through the back, and he goes to the behind. I mean, I could see that as being like, I'm going to solve the crime myself, but also I see that as I'm going to minimize the amount of casualties that possibly could happen by going around and doing that. Same thing with, there were later on with other things where there was armed things happening, and he diffuse the situation so he didn't actually shoot off his gun. The only time he shoots off his gun is in the air while he's raping that woman. Not good, obviously.
But he's a Mary Sue.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
What does that mean?
I don't know if I'd make him a Mary Sue. He's not like the hero of the fanfic here.
Mary Sue is when everything goes right for somebody and they can wield the lightsaber with 0 training.
They explain that,
Don't
sir.
get me started on Mary Sue's. I think I've already gone on that tirade.
We did do that.
Podcast.
Did I tell you what my son said when we watched it's Force Awakens, and then what's the next one?
I don't remember.
The second of the three.
Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi. My son, who's 8, says to me, "Hey, Dad, I thought Luke Skywalker was a hero." And I said, "Me too, son. Me too."
It's sad. I know.
Just because he's a failure doesn't mean he's not.
It's
something
not a
of
failure,
hero.
though. That's the problem. Like, even Mark Hamill had a problem with that. We're getting into weird territory here. Well, Mark Hamill had a problem with it, too.
But that's like, so this podcast emulates the movies that we make. Like, there's a whole bunch of movies that we watch. So like, this has been, I think, a very good podcast. It's a little confusing. There's definitely a lot of drugs going on.
Yes.
But I think maybe we should talk about what we learned.
Wait. We need to do quote rundown.
I got quotes too. And also from my quote, we're going to talk about the whole thing. So Alan, you go first. And if you see my quote, I'm going to be obsessed.
All right. So quote rundown. Let's see here. Can I get my prescription, please?
Yes. That was messed up too.
For one, let's see. And then the tagline for this episode, and perhaps for Nicolas Cage's entire career, is what the security guard says to him immediately after that, which is, "What are you acting all crazy for?"
Yes.
So perfect. Let's see here. Then let's see. The one that let's see here. "You fucks, I hate you. I hate you both." To fairly innocuous middle-aged or elderly ladies.
Yes.
"You're the fucking reason this country's going down the drain." Let's see. We've got "A man without a gun is not a man."
Yeah. We didn't talk about that at all, but Nick Cage's gun, the size of it is preposterous. Like he's carrying, but it's not your standard issue.
It's a 44 mag because he says it at one point.
Okay.
So it's Dirty Harry's gun from I don't remember. I think it's from the first part of Dirty Harry's career anyway. Before he got the auto mag. Let's see. "Tell me again to relax," when he's holding Big Fate at gunpoint. And then later on, I don't know how I'm ever going to find an opportunity to say this, but "Hey, midget, light the Caucasians rock."
Awesome. Yeah.
There's just something about Exhibit saying that line. I just love it. It's just, that's perfect.
I think it's hilarious when white people are referred to as Caucasians.
Yeah.
Rock. Vanderbilt, do you have any quotes? Sorry.
And then later on we get, "You're my kind of motherfucking cop, man. Don't you have a lucky crack pipe?"
Which it was funny because Jackie called that out. She's like, and that's where the Nick Cage is smoking crack with Exhibit, and who's one of the, I want to call him the big, I don't know who even is the big bad in this movie. Life.
Big Fate's pretty. I think
he's been built up as that.
Villain.
Yeah, he's been built up as that.
And Jackie's like, he's and Nick Cage has his crack pipe, and that's what he smokes it, and he's going to give it to Big Fate. And Jackie's like, he's getting his DNA, and I'm like, and then that's what he's actually doing. I'm like, my wife should be a police officer, or someone who spoils movies for people.
Yeah.
I do have a quote, but it's what I learned.
Well, okay, let's save that.
Save it. We have to get to the. We haven't talked about it yet, but
Shoot him again. Why? His soul's still dancing.
All right, so let's take a brief break for the weird breakdancing soul. All right, so for those of you at home, ladies and gentlemen, who have not seen the movie, we have the shootout that we all know is going to happen between Big Fate and the mobsters. They have Big Fate and his guys just gun these guys down. And Dave, who's the leader of the mobsters, he gets shotgunned by Big Fate, and we get this weird line, his soul's still dancing, from yeah, we're getting there. And as this is happening, as we get a cut over to him, and we see this much younger man wearing his outfit, frenetically breakdancing, as we are seeing right now. And Dave is dead in front of him, but there's his soul dancing, and there's Cage's character stoned out of his gourd watching it. And then once he gets shot again, he's gone. And there's our friend the iguana just wandering around that nobody else sees.
So for those of you listening,
it's a fine line.
For those of you listening, Vanderpool brought up the clip, and it was playing it without sound. So we're watching it, and that's why Alan was referring to it. So if you if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you totally should check us out on YouTube. Give a like and subscribe.
In fact, watch us multiple times on YouTube. Get our numbers up there, everybody.
If you press play right now, it'll all align when it switches from black and white to color.
And Dark Side of the Moon starts playing.
Vanderpool, what was your take on that scene?
What's that?
What was your take on that scene?
I mean, is that the climax of the film?
It seemed like it. A lot of his problems went away after that.
I don't know if that counts as the climax, or whether the the actual arrest of Fate and McDonough intervening and keeping him from getting killed. That seems to be a bigger decision moment. But really, the big action moment of the movie is that shootout. It's really the only amazingly violent thing that happens that we see.
So are you saying that this film has multiple climaxes?
I would.
My take on that is we get Nick Cage doing that little weird.
Yeah. He's staring off in the distance with a smile on his face. Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that is when the drugs take the biggest hold on him. But it also, I think, occurs prior to him being the hero, right? When they're doing the snake out and he gets in that stare mode with the iguana, that's prior to him going into the house and being the hero, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Similarly here, it's that moment where he's about to become that hero again, where he has that moment of complete weirdness.
Yeah.
Now, the music of that is playing during the breakdancing, it's all very, very, very surreal, which I just think is another example of this movie being a film than a movie.
And it's weird for weird sake. So
that's what I mean. Like, sometimes films are weird for weird sake. It's a art film versus actually being a...
Yeah, this is like half of an art film. And again, like you'd expect from Werner Herzog doing something that's a main release, I guess.
Yeah, it removes some of the tension.
Yeah, that's true. Because it is silly, but...
And it just makes you, and I think at the end of this whole movie, everything is meant to make you think and talk about it after the fact, which is what a good film should do, which is why the film ends with a question, right? So everything that's done here, I think, is really just to present a scenario that poses a question. So what was it? Werner Herzog wants people to say, hey, what was going on in that scene, without actually having anything really going on in that scene.
Although, point of order, it does not end with the question. Clink, am I stealing your quote here?
No, go ahead.
The last line of the movie is, you know, Chavez, I still hate that I ruined my underwear for you.
Yeah.
And then there's this long silence, and then he just gives this little bark laugh, and then he's done. And then I've got in my notes, and fiend. And end.
If a movie... Go ahead.
Well, what's interesting there is at the end, after Nick Cage delivers that line, it does hold that shot. I mean, that shot's held for a long time. After that line is delivered, Chavez, whether it was intentional or not, does give a little bit of a smirk before Nick Cage lets out that laugh. Like,
yeah,
but it works.
Yeah.
It all works.
Yeah. I really like that end scene. I actually think that part is like totally that is definitely like, that's definitely how you should end it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the closest thing to a happy ending this movie deserves. It works fine.
I'm not gonna. He put it on the tee, Clink, but I'm not gonna swing. When we make our movie, though, we're gonna do that. See, we'll remake that scene in the aquarium.
Remake the happy ending. There, I caught it this time.
So if a film is good that people talk about after the fact, then Monty Python and the Holy Grail is a film. Because you talk about it after the fact, you have to.
Well, no. Because you can talk about a film and why it's stupid. You can talk about a film because why it was funny.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail, you talk about it and it's amazing all the time.
A film will
back me up, Alan.
I think a film explores philosophical questions.
Okay.
And quoting a movie isn't talking about it.
Okay. I have one question for Alan.
Yes.
So on this podcast, we have fun. We also try and teach and learn things together. So one of the quotes that I have is, "You just drank beer, I thought." And is that grammatically correct? That seems odd.
You just drank beer, I thought. I didn't flag it as anything because I don't tend to pay attention to people's spoken grammar.
Okay. That was just odd to me for some reason.
I have enough trouble correcting people's written grammar. I tend to tune out. Even in speech class, I generally won't mark off for, as long as I understood what the person was trying to say.
Yeah. Okay. That was mine. Oh, and I also have my last quote, and I said it before, was, "Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah."
When was that in the movie? I don't remember.
The sleazy guy.
Whoa, big mistake. Big mistake.
He's walking out of there, big mistake.
Yeah.
He leaves the room, closes the door, opens the door, big mistake. Closes the door, walks out. That guy was awesome.
And as he's walking past Daryl, the kid who was the witness to all of this, he just leans in and says, "Oh yeah," walks past. Great.
That was awesome.
Justin is actually both weirdly menacing and absurdly stupid at the same time, which I think makes him the perfect character for this kind of thing.
All right, Vanderpool, what'd you learn?
So what I learned is coupled with a quote. So Nick Cage staves Eva Mendes, his girlfriend, who's a prostitute, from somebody who's beating her, right? And that leads to Dave Jacobs, who is the mob boss who we just talked about, who ends up getting killed at the end, going and visiting Eva Mendes with his henchmen because they're going to get their money back, either through whatever way. And in that scene, Eva Mendes is sitting on Dave Jacobs' lap, and he's kind of moving her around, and he delivers the line, and I quote, "You want the swans, not the prostate." And I learned that swans means cock.
Yes.
And I would agree. Right. You want the cock, not the prostate. Maybe.
True. Okay.
Let's all file that away to think about it. So is this a film now? So we can go home and talk about it, everybody.
Alan, what did you learn?
I learned that if there was a sequel to this movie, it would be called Bad Captain.
Oh,
Because
okay.
he got promoted at the end.
It's true. This is true.
And then it would be like some kind of like Captain Crunch on a drug bender or something, which would be, or Captain Kangaroo or any number of other.
I want the first one. I want Captain Crunch on a drug bender. That would be insane. Because he has a crunchitizer. Exactly. But he has he can crunchitize people because he's got the crunchitizer. So he'll just start crunchitizing people for no reason whatsoever. And then, shenanigans.
So Clink, what did you learn?
So I learned two things. One, sodomy is a crime. And two, avocados are fruit.
Call back to our Zorro episode from our superhero season. Very nice.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. It does refer to sodomy being a crime, and I can't remember when that is.
Exhibit gets, or Mr. Fate, Dr. Fate, what his name is? What is Dr.
Big
Fate?
Fate.
Big Fate. He gets picked up, and that's one of the charges that was listed under
rape and sodomy. See, Clink, thank you for doing to our podcast what the parking lot sex scene did for Bad Lieutenant.
Exactly. That's why I went last.
Wait, did Al learn us something?
Yeah. He just
I missed that.
I learned that the sequel is going to be Bad Captain.
Oh, that's right. I was confused because Kink.
There's an L in there, sir.
Link was talking about the captainizer, and then he was talking about sodomy. And I didn't know what what? The crunchitizer?
In the late 90s, Captain Crunch had the crunchitizer. Crunchitize me, Captain. And so they were crunchitized. Yeah, Captain Crunch.
Crunchitize me, Captain.
Captain.
Clink, is the crunchitizer what you would sodomize someone with?
I hope not.
Kellogg's will not be sponsoring this podcast. No. Holy
excuse me, Captain Crunch is not a Kellogg cereal.
Yes. So
I believe it is made by General Mills, although I might be wrong.
Could be Post too.
Let's just Post. I don't remember.
Before we go full A&W rub beer on this,
looking for sponsorship.
What should we do next time? Are we all caught up on basically what we did when the day I died?
Yes, we are. Finally.
Okay. Almost died.
Oh, I didn't get to share my theory that McDonough's dead.
Whoa, go ahead.
What?
Let's go.
Go ahead. Yeah.
My theory, one of the things that occurred to me is that if McDonough had died when he jumped into the water to save Chavez, and this is all like an extended occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge thing where he's going through like the trials of the afterlife, then he gets saved by his guardian angel Chavez at the end.
Wow. See, I'm the one with the weird fan theories, but that was good. I like that.
Yeah, that was a good one,
Good job. I'm proud of you.
Glad we didn't let that one get cut.
Doing conspiracy.
Hop on that internet.
All right, next time we're going to do another... Oh, wait. We're doing all this stuff backwards now. Was this a good Nick Cage film, and was he good in it?
Oh.
I forgot about that.
I'm
going to argue that he was good in it.
I can go, Alan.
Go ahead. Yeah. I got to think.
I think he was phenomenal in this because he wasn't necessarily Nick Cagey.
He was totally Nick Cage. What are you talking about? The drug?
I don't think he
was. Talk? Okay.
I don't think he was. I don't think he was. He was not.
The crack talk scene is pretty Nick Cage, but anyway.
Which one?
The crack talk scene where he's like just sputtering nonsense after he takes the hit of crack.
Yeah. But that was because of the crack and not necessarily just because.
Or because he's Nick Cage.
Because he's Nick.
It just so happened that Nick Cage can act like he's on crack, so there you go. Because, well,
So I think he does a great job, but I don't think he was like, he wasn't the bees the bees.
No, he was definitely not the bees.
Yeah, and I don't know how are we defining Nick Cage, right? Or is Nick Cage undefinable?
We're trying to figure that out. One movie at a time.
There was never a point where I was like, oh, he's Nick Caging it up when I watched it.
Well, the crack talk scene, I was going, yeah, he's caging it here.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's moderately restrained.
For somebody who's playing somebody who's
weird shit's happening, but he's not the weird one for the most part.
He's actually holding it together pretty well for all the drugs he's on.
Yeah.
So when the fish scene happened where he had the fish in the glass, did anybody else think that he was going to drink and eat the fish?
No, but
that would have been a decade.
Yeah. There was another interesting camera cinematography thing happened there. There was a jump cut there that didn't need to be there. And I don't know if that jump cut was on purpose. Because again, there's the 180 rule, there was the handheld, and then jump cuts. All three things that kind of are meant to settle the audience or unsettle the audience. And yes, it may have been that they held the scene too long and wanted to cut it, but usually things are intentional or they would have reshot it. That was a weird jump cut when he held that glass up.
Or maybe Herzog had him drink the fish and
first time
decided
it didn't work.
that it was stupid.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, so was this a good Nick Cage film then?
I thought it was better than I thought it would be when I finally watched it all the way through with the sound on. Because the first time I watched it, I was in a meeting and I was half paying attention to it because I had the subtitles on, and then I watched like maybe the last quarter of it, I think, with the sound on. And when I watched it all the way through this time, I actually did. I felt like, yeah, it's still weird, but it does. I thought it held together a lot more.
Of all the Nick Cage movies we've watched so far, right? Peggy Sue, Wicker Man, Snake Eyes, Mandy, whatever else.
Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland. This is probably the only one that I really would want to watch again. Not necessarily because it's good. I think it is good, but because there's so much going on that I think you'd pick up more on additional viewings of it. I think as a film, it's worthy of additional viewings.
Second time I watched it, I picked up on a lot more than I did the first time.
Yeah.
So the first time I didn't understand. I didn't pick up on the fact that he's actually a good guy. Like, he's not all the way good, but he actually don't want to hurt innocent people for the most part.
That there are some bumpers on his behavior, even though much of it is terrible.
Can I tell you the scene that took me out of this movie? Because that's one of the things I look for, is stuff that's going to pull me out of the illusion of the film or the experience. When we didn't even talk about the fucking dog in this, or his dad, any of that.
Yeah.
There's so much. I mean, we could do a part 2 on this. But when I believe it's him, Nick Cage, and Eva Mendes are they looking for the witness or whatever? They're driving down the street at night, and he's shining the spotlight. And he's shining the spotlight on hookers, and they're all posing for him with the spotlight from his car. And I'm like, that's not how that would work. They would run and hide because they would think he is the police.
Yeah, because a spotlight or some kind of psycho is going to shoot them. I mean, that's hunter behavior, man. I mean, that was a little weird. Yeah. I'm not going to put on a little show for somebody who's flashing a light on me in those circumstances.
But then again, where they were at was just that was weird. That was just definitely weird. I mean, in a weird movie.
Yeah.
So now can we talk about what's next time? Because we've been doing this an hour and a half. As long as the movie, we've got problems.
We're gonna cut a lot of this out, and you should probably reorder some of the stuff.
I'll see what happens.
Extra work.
Okay.
So it was my pick this time. I did this movie. So next, is it I think it's Vanderpool. It's yours, right?
Sure. How much longer do we want to do the Nick Cage?
Dude, we can do this forever. Like Nick Cage is prolific.
There are a lot more movies.
Pig, yes, Pig is one of them. But I want to do the one where he can see in the future. It's like early 2000s one where he can see like a certain amount of time in the future and he never gets it. That's my pick because it looks weird. I think it's what it's called. Yeah.
So it's called Next.
Okay.
Next.
And then Nick Cage, Unbearable Lightness, or whatever. What is it?
Oh yeah, the Unbearable Weight of Talent.
I think that sounds like it should be the end of the season.
Yeah. I want to end on that one. So I'd like to do Pig next, and then Unbearable Weight. I don't know. Is there anything else that we should like?
The one where he's in everybody's dream. There's a newer movie where he's in everybody's dreams.
And I think the one thing that we can do, right, is we can always go back dream scenario.
I think so, something like that.
Oh, we did Con Air.
We did Con Air.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about when we're doing this podcast in seasons. We can always do additional episodes to add to the season.
Oh, and we're gonna do more Nick Cage. I just got a recommendation. For Long Legs, which is out now, I think, or was out fairly recently.
I think we should do Renfield and
Renfield,
the Vampire for our Halloween episode this year.
Great. All right, I'm on. That would be perfect.
We did Raising Arizona this year. We did Vampire's Kiss.
So many movies.
I don't know if we should do the National Treasure stuff at all.
No.
We can do that later if we do, like, Big Dumb.
We could always do Kick-Ass and Ghost Rider as part of, like, a superhero revival.
Yeah.
Right?
And Nick Cage, if you're happen to be listening, you should totally come on our podcast and talk to us about your methods and your thought processes between the different roles. That'd be awesome.
We did Face Off, right?
Yes, we did.
We did a lot. Yeah, Long Legs is coming out now. So let's say Renfield will be holiday. We've got Dream Scenario, Pig, Next, and Unbearable Weight. You guys want to try to do 4 more?
Sure.
That's fine. Yep.
That makes sense.
So which one are we doing next? Is that going to be Pig?
We could do Next.
You want to do Next
and then Pig?
Because Next was
That's fine by me.
Let's do
All
Pig.
Right.
Pig. Okay.
Let's do Pig. And Pig, for those of you out there, we'll just look at the little log line here. It's got Nick Cage, Alex Wolff, Cassandra Violet, David Nell, Adam Arkin. A truffle hunter who lives alone in the Oregon wilderness must return to his past in Portland in search of his beloved foraging pig after she is kidnapped. That sounds phenomenal. 6.9
awesome.
6.9 out of 10 stars. I'm down for some.
All right.
Yes.
This is going to be crazy.
Yes.
All right. So from me, Mike Vanderpool, Dr. Alan Barris, aka Dr. Love. I didn't introduce this at the beginning. And Michael Klink, the full-time employed Michael Klink.
I'm an absolutely unnoteworthy full-time employee.
The slave man, Michael Klink. Let's say bye, folks.
Bye, folks.